if you're the only one in the room, mate, this is the best fucking news for you because you're getting two experts at door knocking, cold calling exposure all to yourself to put that camera on, buddy.
Where are you from, Sharif?
Uh,
Here he is.
Westmead area.
Oh, Westmead. Oh,
Sharif, it's your
beautiful.
lucky day, my brother. It's your lucky day because you got me and the man. Hey, now, Leon,
Yeah,
how exactly do I pronounce your name? Because I'm
yeah,
always Leonidas?
yeah. It's Leonidas. So yeah, well, the Greek way is
Leonidas.
Leonidas. So I'm a bit of a mix.
Okay,
I'm Greek and
what
Canadian
is your background exactly?
in terms of like ethnicity or
Yeah.
in yeah. So I was born in Australia and then I moved to Canada when I was 5 because my mom's side migrated to Canada. So we all moved to Canada and I moved back to Australia when I was 16, but all my grandparents are from Greece. So
Okay. So the name comes from Greece
yeah.
and and the weird accent. I'm not going to say weird. It's not weird. It's unique. Your
Different
unique
chops in and
accent is
out.
a blend of you being born in
Australia.
because I've always been trying to figure it out. I'm like, his name's Leonidas. That's like a real Greek, yeah, like, European Greek name. And then, but he's got this accent that's kind of American, Australian, almost sounds a bit Irish. I bet you get that a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah?
So where I'm from in
Do you
Canada
get
is
Irish sometimes?
almost every week. Genuinely, like once a week minimum. So where I'm from in Canada is called a place called Nova Scotia. There's like a lot of
Yeah.
Irish and Scottish people there. So the roots of our accent's kind of like the Bogan version of Canadian
Right.
accent. So it is thicker and a bit different or a lot different. Yeah, people always ask where I'm from, like in person. In the comments on social media, people are like, "What the fuck's wrong with this guy's voice?" Like it just chops in and out. It's
Yeah.
like lagged. So,
Yeah. There's certain syllables. There's certain. So, Sharif, tell us a
Yeah.
bit about yourself, mate, and where you're at in your
So
real
I've
estate career.
I've started about a year ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just hit
Nice.
the 1 year mark in real estate. So before this, I was pretty much doing supermarket, working here and there. Then I was
Uh-huh.
studying TAFE for a bit to get the certificate for this one.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when I got into real estate last year, around June, July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice one, mate. So you're a year in. Are you a sales associate for somebody?
Yeah, sales associate.
Okay, nice. And what is your lead agent's name?
Alan Fowler.
Okay, so you work with Alan. And so part of your job as an associate is to do the prospecting and try and get leads for Alan's team, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you do things like letterbox drops and you do cold calls and you call
Door
the street
knocking.
just listed, just
Yeah.
sold, and
So a
you
lot of
also
prospecting.
lots of prospecting. Okay. And how about door knocking?
Yeah, I do door knockings as well.
You do door knockings as well.
Mm.
Okay, so that's what we were going to talk about today. So we'll go through a bit of a prezzo. It's just you, you lucky man. You get us all to yourself.
oh wait, you
And
spoke too soon. Someone just tried to get in.
oh, okay, we'll let him
We
in. Let him
got one
in.
more. Ken.
Um, and can I guess where you're from?
Take a guess.
It's really difficult, actually. You have kind of a Korean look, but also a little bit of a Vietnamese look, but your accent sounds like neither of them. So you've definitely got lots of Aussie in your accent. So you've obviously been here, probably born here, but your parents are not from here, and they've got a strong accent, and that's coming through on your accent a little bit. That's my guess. So tell me
Uh,
where you're from.
so I came here about 10 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm from Afghanistan.
You're from Afghanistan. How
That's
about
right.
that? I would
Yeah.
never have guessed. Shit, there you go. Okay. So from Afghanistan. Wow, big travel all the way over here. Good on you, brother.
Quite a
I
big
hope you're
travel, yeah.
making the most of it. Um,
Alrighty,
so
well, yeah, did you? I can give you a quick intro and then, yeah, go from there. Kenja, welcome to the call. There's only two of you in here, so we highly encourage you to put your camera on because this is a great opportunity for you both to ask as many questions as you want. Today we have a special guest who's built something pretty incredible. Dan Lee started out as a high-performing real estate agent, absolutely dominating his market back in 2016, and he launched his own brand, Plum Property and grew it to a point where he could step away from sales entirely. That's when he started Plum Partners, a platform that helps helps high performing agents build, run, and grow their own brands with blueprint and support system behind them that makes things stress free. Dan is also a guy that handles over 50 employees, 40 businesses without burning out because he's built the right team and keeps a balanced mindset. Today, he's here to share how he built success, how agents can carve out their own path, and some key lessons on theory and strategies to build better results. Welcome, Dan. Thanks you for coming on.
Thank you, mate, and thank you for the intro. So, what I'll do today is I am going, so a bit about me, like you heard a little bit about me. I'll tell you about a bit about my history in prospecting, just so you know, like I have done a lot of this in my time. Before I got into real estate, actually, I started off, and Kenja, can we get your camera on too? If you're here, because there's only four of us today, so don't be shy. Put your camera on. Um, before I got into real estate, here he
Hey,
is. Nice
brother.
one, brother.
There
So
you go,
before I
boys.
got into real estate, I actually was one of these guys at a shopping center who, when you're walking in the shopping center
Oh,
and
fuck.
these people look at you and they're selling something, you're like, don't make eye contact, right? I was one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
So I used to sell home phone and broadband internet from this little table, and I used to set it up in a different shopping center every single day, and I would catch people as they walk past, and I would have to sell them uh, uh, home phone or internet plan and try and switch them over from Telstra or Vodafone or whoever, all those other providers, and try and get them on Optus. And when I made a sale, I got $90. Okay. A good day for me was 4 to 6 sales on a good day. A bad day could be zero. That happens sometimes in the beginning. Or, maybe 1 or 2 sales. The other shit then is that people could cancel within a cooling off period of 14
Gee.
days. So if I made the sale within the next 14 days, if the customer canceled, then I would lose my $90. So it was pretty hardcore. And so I had to get really good at face-to-face selling, right? And I had to just get really, really thick skin because you have to talk to people every day as they're walking past and try and stop them. And you cop a lot of rejection with this kind of job, right? It's just like person after person after person after person. You're just trying to stop every single person. Imagine how many people reject me in a day, right? Pretty much more people reject me than stop to talk to me. Okay. Way more. Maybe like 1 in 5 will stop to talk to me. 4 out of 5 reject me, shake their heads, and walk on. So I have to cop rejection after rejection after rejection all day. Now, in the beginning, that's kind of hard. Like, you're just like, oh, rejection isn't nice. We all like everyone to greet us with open arms and say, please tell me what you're talking about. I'd love to hear it. But it's just not how it happens. And it will never happen like that. Because the thing is, most people are busy, having a bad day, the timing isn't right to talk to you. There's all sorts of reasons getting in the way why these people aren't going to talk to you. Okay. But the thing that taught me doing that job is that, like, once you get used to the rejection, the job actually becomes really, really easy. Okay. Because talking to people isn't actually that hard. And when you get over the rejection part, like the conversations become really good, really easy, really smooth flowing, and you actually enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's the level that you need to get to if you're going to be a master prospector. Okay, you have to get to a level where you're actually enjoying what you're doing. And I can guarantee you that, like, 90% of the people that I talk to, or if I was doing a bigger session than this with a couple of hundred people, 90% of them are doing this job, but at the same time, they're hating it. They're hating every time they knock on the door. They're hating the listening to the footsteps come to the door. They're freaking out. They're just so worried about what the person's going to say. And they get through it and they may get a result or they may not. And then they move on and they do it again, but they're just like, they're not enjoying it. Okay. And when you don't don't enjoy it, it makes it harder to do. It's easier to skip. It's easier to pull up stumps early and only do like 5 door knocks instead of doing 30 or 40. And your results just aren't as good, right? In the long term. So first and foremost, the only way to get that confidence where you can just like knock on a door and you feel no like fear at all. It's just like every person comes to the door, you're just like, whatever, I like this. Reject me if you can. And it becomes like a game and it's actually enjoyable. Man, your results will skyrocket. Okay, so that's where you want to get to mentally as prospectors, whether it's door knocking, whether it's cold calling, or any other type of prospecting that you can do. Okay, so that was just a little bit on mindset, and um, the only way to get to that mindset is to practice, 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 and force yourself through the tough times when you're not as good as at it, when your confidence is low and because you haven't done it a lot and you haven't got those quick responses and that kind of thing. But that gets better and better over time. So practice, practice, practice. You'll get more confident and you'll start loving it. Now I'm going to share my screen with you guys really quickly. I'm just going to show a bit of a prezzo that I actually did for my Plum Partners network the other day. I'm just going to send you a request, Leon.
Yep.
Can you see? Let me see. Let me do that again. Here we go. Okay. I've just put up this little prezzo. Now, this says cold calling for best results. I did this presentation just the other day. I know we're talking about door knocking today, but um, you can apply the theory that I'm going to show you to any type of prospecting that you do if it's cold. Okay, so the same theory I'm going to talk about with cold calling here you can apply to door knocking as well. Okay. So I could have literally just changed this to door knocking for the best results and the presentation would be the same. So
Yeah.
just letting you know that 50% of all of my agency's leads, right? So I have my own agency called Plum Property, and we do about 400 house sales a year. There's about 20 agents, and 50% of our leads come from cold prospecting that then we nurture, and then it turns into listings at some point or another. Okay. So when we're trying to do cold calling, I'll get into this a bit more in the next slide, but we're not looking for instant sales, okay? Because you're going to be disappointed. 20% of our listings come from the marketing that we do. So we do Google Ads and all the videos and everything, and then people inquire through our website and that kind of thing and want an appraisal. But it's only 20% of our listings. 10% of our deals come from people selling with our agents after they've just bought a property from the agent. So they met the agent through the transaction and then sold a property with them. Okay, so only 1 in 10. And 20% are with buyers that we're currently working with in the marketplace that also have something to sell. So we help them with their buying journey and then we pick up their listing on the other end as well. Okay, so 50%. Where we get the most leads is from cold outreach. Okay, it all starts with cold outreach. So, how does cold outreach work and what are we trying to achieve? Okay. It's really important to know because and to understand this process. And the longer you're in real estate, the more apparent it becomes. You can't see it in your first 3 months or 6 months, but you do see it after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You will start to see that real estate is all about having a funnel. It's having a funnel of relationships that you nurture over a long period of time and they start dropping, they start popping off in further down the track. And different listings come on at different times. So the whole idea of a funnel is to just fill it up as big as you can. Okay? So who do you want to fill up your funnel with, right? Relationships, relationship wise. The best type of funnel to have for a real estate agent is owners within a particular core area, okay? Suburb or postcode, because you will and get as many listings in the same area as you can. That's the fastest way to success as a real estate agent, okay? Because listings in an area will build your profile and make you attractive to work with in the area. So people will be more likely to call you in for listing presentations. And when you're winning more and selling more, it's easier to win the listings as well. So your conversion rate goes higher. So not only do you get more leads in the same area, they're easier to convert, and then you can also increase your fee. And if you're the market leader, then it's easier to keep your fee high, right? Because you have the proof of what you're doing. So when we're building relationships, this is why door knocking and cold calling within a specific area is so important, right? If you
How are
sell a
you?
house in an area
Good, thanks.
or a townhouse, um,
I'm good. How are
sorry,
you?
we got someone in here. We'll just mute that guy, would
Yeah.
you, Leon? Cheers. So when you're doing your door knocking, um, you're not looking for, you're not looking to knock on people's door and say, "Hey, I just sold a house on the street and I wanted to let you know." You're not looking for someone to go, "Oh, wow, fantastic. I'm so glad you told me. In fact, I'm thinking of my selling my house next week. What perfect timing this is. Please, Mr. Agent, come on in. Do you have an agency agreement with you? I'm ready to pay full marketing. Let's go." Right? That's the dream. Leon, how many times has that happened to you in all the door knocking you've done?
Oh, I say this. I've said this many times. Honestly, on an average, it probably happens once a year, like
Once
max.
a year.
And
And
like
how many times do you go door knocking?
I do a 2 to 3 hour session once a week at the moment, every
Two
week.
to 3 hours a week, once a week. So 50, let's say 50 times a year for 2 to 3 hours, 150 hours of door knocking. And that maybe happens once a year. Okay.
Yeah.
He's only been doing it a couple of years, so he doesn't even have like a massive time frame to sort of, uh, data on this. But I'm telling you, it's so rare.
Oh,
Okay. It's
it's
really,
yeah.
really rare.
The fact
And
one of them being home, one of them needing to sell, and then selling with you, it's just so
selling
annoying.
with you, not having a relationship with someone else, and then selling with it in a short time period, right? That's the biggest one. So we're not looking for that, okay? What we're looking for is the opportunity to just make a relationship with this person, okay? Because everyone sells at some point, and the average home rate sale in Australia is 7% of homes every single year sell. Okay, so if you can knock on 1,000 doors and you can make 100 relationships out of those 1,000 doors, right? How do we make the relationship? Well, let's go into that in a sec. But out of 100 relationships in the next 12 months, seven of those people statistically are going to sell. Okay. So if you do 100 on the spot price update appraisals, you go in, you have a chat, you build some rapport, you talk about family and kids and life and work for 5 to 15 minutes, and then you get back to that person with a report on their house in the next couple of days, and then they go into some sort of nurturing plan with you for ongoing for the rest of their life. You're going to let them know about things that happen in their street. You're going to call them once a year and give them another update. You're going to see if they want any other help from you. And you're just going to keep in touch over a period of time, right? Now, if one of these people is to sell their property in the next 12 months whilst you're staying in touch, what's the chances that they at least give you a call to say, "Hey, I'm thinking of selling. You've been really good. You came over and gave me that appraisal. Yeah, we are doing something." Like what was the chances of you getting that call before you door knocked and started doing all of that stuff for them? Fucking zero
Zero.
most of the time, unless you're a high performing agent, right?
Yeah.
Your letterbox drop ain't gonna fucking do it unless you've been doing that shit for 10 years and you got heaps of market share. Okay. So, like, but what's the chances of that person giving you a call if you knocked on their door one day, randomly met them, gave them a property price, had a bit of chat about life and everything, and then you kept in touch and sent them interesting stuff about their home in the area ongoing. What's the chances of them calling you after that if they decide to sell in the next 12 months?
Very high.
Probably at least a 50% chance, right?
And Dan,
And most of the time,
what I found is your fee as well. You know, you don't usually negotiate hard on fee when it comes to those scenarios. Like I listed one yesterday. I posted it in the community actually. The first time I appraised it was in 22, and I went there and it was just like there was no other agent, to be honest. There was just me. I probably could have charged more when you look back. It was just easy business. So 100%.
easy business when the relationship's been made. Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll be in more cases, you'll be in less competition because they've already trust you and the relationship's already there and you go in with no competition and that's the best way to have business, right? So that's awesome, mate. So those relationships, they eventually turn into listing opportunities, okay? Over time. So we're trying to gather as many relationships as we can and nurture them. They start dropping. And let me tell you, if you can build 400 to 500 relationships within a specific area, that's the number. If the relationships are good, that's the number where you start seeing very frequent business coming in from it. Talking about probably at least a listing a month that you will get, right? You'll lose some too. You're not going to get them all, but you will get about a listing a month. If you are good at your listing presentation as well, and you've nurtured these people, and the relationship is relatively good, like you've done an appraisal, you've kept in touch, and that kind of thing, you will get probably one a month from that. Now imagine if your database was 800, that's two a month, 1,200, three a month. Okay. So the bigger your database of relationships, the more of these listing opportunities come in. And then when you get listings, you get even more listings because you get market share and marketing and things like that. So those listing opportunities turn into listings because we convert a lot of them, and then they turn into sales, which turn into a lovely commission at the end. All right. So that we can look after ourselves. So that is how, like, this is a long game. If you get into real estate and you think door knocking and cold calling is going to make you successful within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, get out of here, right? Go sell a phone where go to Optus and sell phones where you get an instant $50 bonus for selling a phone and you're on a 50 grand salary with shitty bonuses with instant rewards. Okay. This is not about instant rewards. The instant reward for us in this case is getting a chance to build that relationship. That's a fucking win. All right. That's a win. That relationship you just built, you have no fucking idea. That relationship could make you 40 grand in 2 years' time. 60 grand, 80 grand. You sell their house, they sell their brother's house with you. Then they clients for life. You sell another house for them 10 years later. Turns into 100 grand from
100%.
one fucking door knock. That's the shit that happens in real estate, right? But it's a long game. Okay.
I've actually got, sorry to cut you off. I'm actually, because I'm putting a speech together for an event that I'm speaking to. And there was this door that I knocked in the early days of my career. And then I actually did I tracked what came from that one listing. Uh,
Hmm.
and it was a total of 9 sales so far, 120,000 in commission. And it's continuing to grow. And the owner that bought the original house that I knocked actually owns 8 properties in the area as well. So it will continue to grow. That was just one from one knock.
From one knock, huh? That's where it starts, man. So the harder you work at this, the luckier you get, and you will find some fucking nuggets of gold if you do it for long enough. And you'll find many of them. There's heaps. There's heaps of them out there, but you got to do the work. You got to do the work, and you got to be consistent. So now we'll talk about just how you should do door knocking. Just try to follow. If it's your first time door knocking, stick to a script. Okay. When you get really good, when you're at Leon's level and you've been doing it for years and you're just used to it. He doesn't even need to think when he's going to the front door. He doesn't even know what he's going to say next because he's been doing it so long and the fear is gone. And so he's just like, he's free flowing, all right, a lot of time. But I'm sure Leon's still got like some little tricks up his sleeve that work for him that he's figured out on this journey, right? And you need to figure out the little tricks that you can do to get more cut through. Okay. The first thing you need to get really good at is an icebreaker. All right. An icebreaker is a way of grabbing someone's attention and making them more curious about what you're doing uh, without them thinking that you're a salesperson. All right. Now, a lot of the time they are going to know you're a salesperson of some sort, but we want to have the chance to get some cut through, right? Because let's face it, when people open the door and they see us standing there in our suit or our, name badge, whatever it is, instantly they've got their guard up. Oh shit, what does this person want? What is this salesperson trying to sell me? So we want to break down that barrier. Okay. So the best way to break down the barrier is using an icebreaker. Now, when you're door knocking, this is really easy. On the phone, icebreakers are way more difficult. Okay. And I have strategies for that, but I'm going to talk about some strategies for door knocking. Right. So after I did my sales job where I used to stand in a shopping center and sell Optus home phone broadband, I then got another job. I quit that after 6 months and got a job with another company where I used to do and sell water filtration systems, right? Crazy. Like never fail water in the dentist, go fill up your little cup of water. It was like that, but you filled it up with tap water and it had a big filter in it and it would, come out as filtered chilled water. And so I used to sell these door to door to residential homes. Um, so I got, and this is part of the training we used to go through when we did that sort of work. So an icebreaker, as I mentioned, is it's a way of breaking up the situation to get the person to engage a little bit more and be a bit curious about who you are. And the best way you can do that is by giving a compliment or making a joke or something just a little bit lighthearted, but it's not just straight into, hello there, I'm such and such, and I'm from this company. Okay, you want to avoid that at all costs. Okay, when someone opens the door and they're like, hello, who's this? You don't want to go straight into who you are and what you're doing and where you're from. Okay, that's how you get a massive freaking shut the door in your face rate. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to use an icebreaker, and I'll give you some classics, right? If someone had a beautiful garden and I was walking up the pathway, I would knock on their door. I would always take a step back, I would go down, try and be a step lower than them if they have steps the up to the door. Go down to the step and stand. If you want to make people feel more comfortable, stand away from the door and be lower than them. Okay? So when they come out, you're not especially if you're a tall guy like me, I don't want to be towering over someone as they open their front door and they have a male at the door really tall that, if I'm approaching a woman or a child, that's going to be like a bit of a scarier situation. So we want to make them feel really comfortable. So we want to take a step back and we want to lower ourselves down and try and be on their level or lower than them. That will give them more comfort. And the first thing you want to do is chuck out a compliment or a joke. So I mentioned the garden thing. If I walked up the path and there was a beautiful garden and then someone opened the door, I'd be on their level and I would just say, oh my goodness, this is the best garden I've seen all day. And that's all I would say, right? Until they respond to me, right? And they might go, it might get awkward. They might go, oh, thank you. Who's that? And I'd be like, oh, goodness me, I didn't even introduce myself because I was taken away by your garden so bad. I was taught better than that from my mother. I'm sorry. My name's Daniel Lee, and I'm from here. Okay? So I've just broken down the guard in a couple of ways by making them feel good with a compliment about their garden. I'm standing on their level. And then I talked about I was taught better than that from my mother. My name is How Rude Am I? And just that kind of intro would make the person go, that's okay. No, that's fine. Okay, what is your thing that you're doing? Right? Now, it wouldn't work every time, okay? Sometimes I would do something like that and they'd just be like, who is that? And then I'd be like, do the same trick that I would try on the last person, and it wouldn't work. But I'm telling you, the percentage of people that I would get cut through with if I did an icebreaker would be phenomenally more. Okay. And then that would give me more opportunities to then go into my reason of call. Okay. So that's the second part on the chart here for how to do a great introduction. The reason for my call. And so I would introduce myself. My name's Daniel. And the reason that I'm here today is because I wanted to let you know a piece of information. All right. You have a piece of information you need to give to them, whether it's I've just listed this thing on the street, I've just sold this thing on this street, or we're just doing an appraisal update for everyone in the street. Whatever your reason is, you tell them your reason. Now, reason, well, you need to relate it to them as to how it benefits them. Okay. So, for example, if you're doing a just sold call, knock, and you say, hey, the reason I'm here is I just wanted to let you know about the property I just sold over the road. Well, it got a really high price, 50,000 more than we expected for it, and the owners are thrilled. And because of that and the popularity of your street, we actually think the value of your property has increased. See what I did there? I didn't just say, oh, well, just want to letting you know we sold a property for 680. Silence. Like, well done, mate. What do you expect? Okay. No, I sold that. And because of that, this affects you in this way. Okay. This affects your property in this way. Makes it more relevant to them. They're gonna then want to talk about that. Oh, really? Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, all the owners on the street, they're all getting updates on their property now. Just that's what I'm doing actually. That's why I'm here as well. So now we're going to move into our offer. Our offer, right? If you're selling solar, right? Your offer now is, hey, we're selling solar. I'll put solar on your roof and we've got a special deal today, right? That's not our offer, all right? Our offer is, hey, while I'm here, I'm actually in the process of updating everyone in the street with the value of their home. I do it once a year for everyone because I'm the market expert, right? And while I'm here, would you like to know what your property's worth? Okay, at this point, you're either going to get, right? So I just did a close, right? I just closed them. So I made them an offer and I said, would you like to have an update on your property while I'm here? That's a close. I just tried to close them. Now you'll either get a yes, yeah, all right, while you're here, but I'm not selling or whatever it is. And then you go, great, I'll just grab some details from you. Here's my card. Do you mind if I come in? You know, or in most cases, you're going to get a no. Okay. Now, it may not be a solid no, get off my property, but it's usually something called an objection. Okay. An objection is just an excuse as to why they don't want that appraisal from you. Here's the secret everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know what the value of their property is at any given time. I'm telling you, the only reason they're saying no to you right now is because one, maybe they don't want you in your house because you're a stranger. So when you're door knocking, there's three reasons. One, maybe they're a bit cautious about letting a stranger in their house. Okay. Number two, they don't want to waste your time if they're not selling. Okay. Most people will say, oh, thanks, but I'm not selling, right? They go instantly to this guy wants to sell my house. And we need to let them know that that's not our intention. Our intention is we're not here to sell your house. We're just here to inform you as to what yours is worth, just for your interest. Okay. But um, owners typically move straight to that line of this guy wants to sell my house. Okay. So we need to let them know that that's not the reason we're doing this. We're doing this because of we just sold this other house, and then everyone, we're just doing an update for everyone. Would you like an update? We didn't say anything about selling. So you'll get an objection. I've got another presentation called the 8 most common objections that I can go through on another day and how to handle each of those objections. But you'll get that objection, and then you just need to turn it around as to a reason why they should get the appraisal and that this is very valuable information for them. And they, number one, you're not here to sell their house. And number two, they don't owe you anything. Okay? So, hey, I'm doing this for everyone in the street. You've made it perfectly clear you're not selling, right? But everyone's getting an update. I'm going to be updating your house anyway for my own system records. So I may as well give you a copy of the report so you can know what it's worth in today's market. Could I email that or send it to you? Could I have a quick look if you want a really accurate idea? Give them some options. They'll give you an objection. You'll turn it around and you'll try again. If they say no to you like two, three times, right? I usually need three no's to go away, but depending on the tone, it might be on the second no, but I never give up on one no. All right. Never give up on one no. Always handle the objection. Give them a reason why they do need an update. Reassure them that you're not here to sell their home and that they're not wasting your time and that you're not going to bother them too much afterwards. The chance of you getting cut through on that second time is a lot higher. Okay. And you'll get really good at closing these appraisals if you can get good at handling those objections. Okay. That's where the real magic is. And the master of prospectors are turn it around into another reason why they should get this appraisal and be able to do that with confidence. Now, to be able to do that with absolute confidence, be witty, be sharp, have great answers, takes practice. Takes practice
100%. Oh, you there?
first, using scripts, and then after get better at handling it.
Oh, it's going a
So,
little laggy.
okay. So that's sort of like how you want to be cold calls. I'm not going to go further into this. I got some scripts and things like that. I think we'll stop it there because there's a lot to take in. And I think the guys on this call should go away and take some of this theory into practice and see what their results are like. Okay.
Great stuff. Gold. Absolute gold.
Awesome. Guys, my name's Dan Lee. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Dan_Lee_Plum on Instagram. I do other trainings. I also have a podcast and I do other sorts of cold calling training as well. So give me a follow if you're interested in more of that kind of content. I'll chuck it in the chat for you. Where's my chat? Stop that share. So Insta handle, if you're interested, is Dan_Lee_Plum. Or on Facebook, it's
I'll put a shout out in
uh,
the community as well. I'll put a post in there for you today.
no worries, bro. I think it's Dan Lee Property. And I've got a picture of a fly kick. You'll see that on Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel where I upload consistent trainings about different things. It's not all about cold calling. It's lots of different real estate stuff and leadership stuff as well. So feel free to look me up on YouTube. I think it's just straight up Daniel Lee. Guys, thanks for having me. Hope you took something away from this and really good luck with all of your door knocking.
No, that was great. No, I really appreciate that, Dan. And yeah, gold stuff. Everything that, I preach. We're on the same page there, to be honest, about, not being a scumbag at the door, essentially. So, no, very
That's
good.
it.
Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Keep in touch, brother. All right. Have a great day.
All right, see ya.
See
All
ya.
right. Alrighty, guys. Now we'll just open up. There's a few of us in here. Any Q&As if you wanted to. I was just reading the chat here. It looks like a question was there for Dan. We must have missed that. Sorry about that. But yeah, if anyone wanted to open up, yeah, and ask some questions, ask away. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I got to unmute you, don't I? All right. Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Can you
Hey.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, just a quick one. I had a quick one for Dan. He's really good at those sorts of things. Maybe you can help as well, mate. So, with
Yeah.
the relationship thing, that's critical. I get it. We should be, trying to get as many relationships with so many people who live in the area. But what's a good way to sort of keep in touch with people once you've got the details?
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have a CRM at the moment that
Yeah,
you're using? Yeah, cool. So obviously you'll put them in there, but the way that I kind of do things personally, and I find works very well, and is not, I guess, too harassing, because you hear people complain all the time that agents are calling me all the time. I don't even want to sell, yada yada. So I have a system basically where I'll send bulk texts in regards to sales around their property, and I'll send that to everyone, and I'll give them the heads up when I meet them. I just say, oh, that's awesome. The conversation went well, yada yada. I just say, look, going forward, anything that sells around your house, I'll just send you a text with what it sold for. You don't have to reply. It's just for your own information. And then that kind of, drops the guard of, oh, they're trying to get me to sell their house. It's just, I'm trying to inform you. And then what I call it is when we get a nibble, right? So I'll send these bulk texts to the person around this property that I just sold the house to. And then if they have some, intent of selling, or they're thinking of selling, they're more than likely going to reply something along the lines of, what do you think mine's worth now? Or we're thinking of selling in the next few months. Then all of a sudden, goes from a really cold lead to warm. I'll then, if they send me a message like that, I will then call them and get, some understanding on where they're at and what they're thinking. So then I can either upgrade them to a hot or leave them in a warm. And then if they're in a warm, I will then put them on my list where I call them on a monthly basis, just as a check-in to see what they're doing. If they're hot, I'm texting them with everything that I think is relevant to them, and I'm calling them on almost on a weekly basis, depending on what the conversation goes like. If they said that they're not going to be ready for the next 3 weeks, then I'll call them in 2 weeks, kind of thing. But basically, a bulk text message system to find the nibbles, and then we upgrade them to a warm or then a hot is the best way to is what I find to nurture them, and that's how I get my listings. The one that I posted in the community yesterday, that was in 2022. I was calling them on a yearly basis because I knew that one day that because they told me, but I always texted them every sale around their property, and they would either respond or thanks for that, or yeah, we're getting closer, and yeah, and then yesterday it turned into a listing.
the text is better for regular sort of just updates than a phone call.
I think so personally. Like I'll do like a lot of calls for past clients. But I think just calling people, just saying, hey, like what are you calling them about, kind of thing. So I like to make my lists that I call, good lists to call. So I like to send out the text to create the lists, and and then my list starts getting pretty big, right? So probably shouldn't show you my leads, but
Don't
this is
email
my
them, man, far away.
yeah, if I put this on YouTube. So this is my warm and cold list. You can't even see it. So as you can see, it's a huge piece of paper. And then I've got my hot list, my hot pipeline. And then that's what I'm always adding to every day. So the goal is to door knock, get the data, cold call, get the data, then have people to tell your results to. And if you don't have results, tell your office's results, other people's agents' results. Keep an eye on what other agents in your office or even other sales in general, especially if you know people that are on the fence of selling and they're getting close. You need to tell them about their sales too. You're a point of information. You're letting them know what's going on, not just with yourself, but what's going on with the market. So yes, to answer your question, always do a large bulk outreach in terms of text message and find out where the nibbles are from there, and then really put the energy into those people, because those are the people that are selling, right? You're wasting so much energy calling all these people that aren't selling. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It kind of reverts back to what Dan was saying in regards to the door knocking. What are the chances of them, what selling then and there, saying yes, come over, sign the agreement? But you can find those people. You just need to create the right list so you can spend the right energy, and then you'll convert more. Very good. Anyone else? You can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself or ask me to unmute you. Actually, I'll just unmute everyone just in case. I'll just ask everyone to unmute, and then you leave it up to you if you have a question. If not, we'll wrap it up. So you're in Melbourne, are you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, Melbourne.
How long have you been in real estate for?
A couple of years now.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
What's the market
just
like in Melbourne at the moment?
yeah, it's competitive, man. A lot of agents about, so it's getting a little more difficult to sort of get on to people. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, but it's to the point where they're getting called regularly. So I'm not sure how
yeah,
it is in Sydney, but in the southeast of Melbourne, it's pretty full on. Lot
yeah,
of agents around,
yeah,
so keeps you sharp. You got to keep going.
yeah. And do you work? Do you work for yourself or do you work for someone? Like are you an agent or are you
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. So I work for a real estate agency. So I've got a
yeah.
franchise territory. So I
Mm-hmm.
look after three suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to focus on just the one
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, Alex Jordan, all of them say, take a smaller patch, try and capitalize on that. So trying a few different things to penetrate. It's just a bit difficult. There's a lot of big established agents around who
Yeah.
have big market share. So it's difficult trying to get in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%. But always use, your advantages when you're up against the a big Goliath. It's just, you've got more time. You need the sale. You're going to put the energy into the sale. I'm sure you know.
Yeah,
But that's your main selling point compared to someone you know, that's essentially too busy, and you know that they're not going to be putting in the time that's needed for some of these sales, or they'll pass it down to their associates, and you really need to sell that and go in there with
yeah,
high energy.
yeah.
Is there any other questions out there?
Yeah, I don't know if my mic on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Max.
Yeah,
Hey.
sweet. Yeah, good lads. Not too bad at all. Hey, first of all, want to say I actually got the confidence from door knocking more because of your Instagram videos. So I really appreciate that.
Thanks,
You
man.
spreading that out. So my plan of attack, I'm currently associate to a lead agent.
Yeah.
Um, I've been there for roughly about 4 months now.
Yeah.
My average, I've booked about 22 appraisals since I've been there.
Awesome.
Um, and they're all like more selling towards end of this year, early next year, or mid next year.
Yeah.
But my goal is I try to door knock at least 50 doors on 2 days. So like I try to do 50 doors on. So today I'll go out, knock 50 doors, and then do the same for Thursday as well.
Yeah.
And then I also drop 400 letters. My core area that I look after.
Yeah.
400 letters over there. But I found door knocking really, I guess, beneficial and just taking bits of things, how you do things, and how to sort of turn into my own way of doing things as well,
Yeah.
which has been really well. And most weeks when I go out door knocking, I normally average one or two appraisals from just door knocking in general.
Right.
My background, I actually came from the nightclub scene. So I was selling ID scanners to nightclubs, pretty niche industry.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just wanted to sort of jump on and just say, I don't know, like obviously keep the sort of energy going, but booking 22 appraisals. I might be getting my first listing next week as like just a co-agent sort of aspect.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is like obviously just keep on, you just got to keep on chugging along. Hey, like I know I booked 22, but when you've booked that many, you kind of feel a bit drained out and
Yeah.
wondering when's it going to drop. But then it's also a marathon, not a sprint as well. So
Yeah.
any advice for that'd be great.
Yeah, look, it's a very long game, and door knocking is just one lead source.
Mm,
There's other ways to get quicker listings, like chasing expireds. So in my
yeah,
first year as a standalone agent, I got three of my listings that were expired listings. My
yeah,
first listing was an expired listing, so they're more hot. Those are the ones you're chasing that you can kind of convert now. They're the ones that are going to take a lot more time in terms of selling. The agent that's on it now probably doesn't have the time, nor does he care, nor does he need the listing or the money, right?
yeah, yeah.
So those are really good listings to get into that are considered hot while you're still doing the stuff in the background and
Yeah,
building that data. Because when you start getting results, you want to be able to have a large list of friends or
yeah,
people that you can tell about, right? So
yeah,
it's
correct.
all about compounding the listings. So I don't know if you saw what I put in the community yesterday. The one that I listed, that was an appraisal in 2022.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
So it's so
pretty interesting
long.
to see.
So, and you're just compounding it, and everything you're doing today, your future self will thank you in terms of, the amount of times I get listings now and go, thank fuck I did that back then.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
God. Like, at the time, I obviously wanted, the listing then and there, but you can't think like that. And as long
yeah,
as you're building your database, and the good thing about door knocking is my most favorite thing about door knocking. Yes, it's great to opportunity to try to find listings. Yes, it's a great
yeah,
opportunity to get appraisals. But what it actually makes you a killer at is a killer closer. Because you're
yeah,
you're 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 getting the worst form of rejection on someone's
yeah,
front door. It's
yeah,
literally
exactly.
turning you into a weapon, right? So a
Yeah,
lot of agents where they make the mistake is they learn to close in the listing appointment. The list
yeah,
if you're learning to close in a listing appointment and making mistakes in a listing appointment, that's costing you so much fucking money.
yeah,
You can
that's
make
right.
mistakes at the front door. It doesn't matter. It's not going to
Mm,
cost you anything, right? So just continue at it, keep building that data, find other ways to get listings as well. Like you always
yeah,
have multiple sources of way you get leads. One's cold calling, one's door knocking, chasing expireds, old data in the office, old agents that worked in the office. Go through that with
yeah,
ask your boss, whoever you work for, if you can go through that. Whether
yeah,
you spend money on marketing, on listing platform like Local Agent Finder or Open Agent, you want to
mhm,
have so many funnels where they come into one, and then you kind of really start building a strong business. So good work.
yeah.
The fact that you're closing that many, I can, you speak well. The way that you're speaking now, you're very confident, and you put a sentence together very well. So that will help you a lot at the doors as well. And obviously with your conversion rate, you can see that. So good work there. Just keep it up and keep building. And
My last thing is as well, one thing I took away from your script, which I recommend everyone should use. I actually say I don't reckon you've seen me before. You probably haven't seen me before, and then go into my spill. That's worked really well. And the reason why I recommend to other people to do it is because in my belief, it makes people think, oh, wait a second, have I seen that person before? I don't think I have. So it gets
yeah,
them thinking about me because I'm going into a big area leveraging off a lead agent, but also it's my area to develop over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years.
yeah,
So the more I like door knocking is because the more faces I get to see, the more people they get to see my face and go, oh wait a second, that Max kid, he's actually all right, sort of thing.
yeah.
So, but no, I really appreciate all the stuff you provide, and yeah, I just wanted to jump on and just ask a question.
Yeah, no, thanks for watching and good work. And yeah, you're absolutely right with that first question. It's the curiosity opener, right, or the icebreaker.
Yeah,
So there is the breakdown of the questions. So I encourage everyone, in this community, the scripts are there. And I'll
yeah,
be honest, I was talking to my mentor last week, and I was just saying like I'm trying to make all these new scripts for the
mm,
community. And then also, like I'm going out there and I'm testing them, and they just don't work as good as the ones that I have now, the ones that have
that's
been
right.
using for years. And he goes,
Yeah,
"Well, why are you trying to create something new if they already work? Just
mm.
focus on what's
Stick with
working."
what
So
works. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm going to continue to try to make a few new scripts, but I want people to look at the listing breakdown, or sorry, the script breakdown in the classroom tab, and see if you can make your own script, but
yeah,
based off the questions. So at the very bottom, there's the 6 questions, types of questions that you're supposed to ask. Now, you don't have to ask every single one because every conversation will always go off track or be different to the other one. But if you
yeah,
remember the order of the questions, and then if things get off track, you can get the conversation back on track, which will lead to the last question, which is the closing question, right?
yeah,
So to start off with the first one as the curiosity or the question, if I don't know if you have or have not seen me around, it gets them thinking, and it just doesn't make your voice sound like white noise or background noise because you're putting the conversation onto them. It's like
yeah.
I've just asked
That's
you a
it.
question. Now it's your time to respond, to engage the question, and it allows the conversation to get a lot better, and it allows for you to lower the chances of getting the common rejection of "we're not selling," because when they
Mm,
say that and you say multiple times that we're not here for people that are selling, they're not listening to you. They're going blah
yeah.
blah blah blah, we're not selling, then you're going blah blah blah, and then they go, we're not selling. They're not listening. So you need to
Yeah.
get them engaged by asking questions like you are, and then you'll have better conversions because they're actually listening to what you're having to say at the front door.
A
So
piece of dialogue I've sort of created myself as well. I say to them, "Do you see this being your long term home? Like, do you see yourself living here long term?" And that actually actually quite effective as well because they start thinking to themselves, "Wait a second, do I want to be here long term?"
yeah,
So I thought that I just chucked that in there one day and sort of it's just trial and error. It's trial and error, and I threw that
100%.
in there, and then once I saw it worked, I was like, "Well, I'll keep that in the dialogue because that's a good little I guess stab, so to say."
Yeah, great.
But
Max, honestly,
I appreciate it.
anything like that, if you've coming up with your own stuff, throw it in the community. Say, hey,
Yeah, we'll do.
tweaked the script and it worked really well because I
Yeah,
want to see what's working for other people. Look, I might even, I might even go, fuck, I'm going to use
yeah,
that, right? So,
yeah.
and that's what it's all about. All of us helping each other. It's the whole point of this community. Learning off each other and learning off each other's mistakes. Finding out what
That's
works,
it.
what doesn't work. So now,
No, I
awesome.
appreciate it, Leon. I just really do.
Thanks for asking questions and thanks for tuning in. Anyone
No
else?
worries.
No, that's
Perfect. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. It was great to have you here. I'll see if we can get Dan back on. He knows his stuff. That was a great presentation, and we will speak soon. Any questions? Always reach out. It's always better to message me in the school community because messages don't get marked as spam in there. So if you ever do have any questions, try to message me on there. And please post your wins and your fails in the community. And if you do come up with your own scripts, use the listing breakdown. The 6 questions that you're supposed to ask are in there. So use those questions to kind of generate your own scripts. Let us know how you go, and best of luck out there. And we'll see each other next month. Thanks, guys.
thanks,
All right,
Leon.
thanks. Have a good night. See ya.
You too.